This is a journey into sound. Thinking of a master plan. Let me stop. All right. Welcome. Konnichiwa. Okay, I had to take a minute before I wrapped up my entire day to just come back because I was scrolling them Twitter streets again, and I had a moment, and it had to do with seeing a post that said, another client win. But maybe you're asking, well, why didn't you mind your business, right? Why didn't you mind your business? Well, let me tell you why I didn't mind my business, because that's the way my brain works. It's I see some information, and I look at that information, and my brain processes that information. So basically, it said another client win, right? And then it went on to proceed to talk about this particular person was laid off in this month. 8 months later, that person discovered me and booked a strategy session. 8 weeks later, they landed a job that was almost 40K more than what they were making when they were laid off, right? So, and y'all probably saying, what? These things happen, so why should I care? Why should I care? Okay, so here's the thing that we don't do enough, and it's actually stop and look at what's before us or question things. So it has nothing to do with the client or the coach, right? Or whomever it may be, in however you see yourself in this situation. It has nothing to do with that. The question that I always ask myself is, did one thing actually lead to the other? I'm gonna repeat that for those in the back. I got lower like you was right here though, didn't I? Like you at the stage, like it's an Usher show. Next liquid sweat. Anyway, um, did one thing actually lead to another? I'm not saying the coach didn't help. What I am saying is, how much did each person contribute? And I wanted to know what could be like other factors or things to consider that goes with that, right? So, and I said to myself, all right, so maybe I need to approach this like the word. All right. If all hearts and minds are satisfied. No, let me stop. Okay, so I asked, did one thing actually lead to the other? And I'm not saying that the coach didn't help, or the client didn't help. What I'm saying is, and this is no shade against either one of them, okay? This is nothing against them. It's taking the information that's there. But I'm not gonna sound like I'm gonna justify that anyway. However, but when we encounter information, we should ask, how much did each person contribute? And I said to myself, I need you all to just take a journey with me and turn to the book of humanity. The book of humanity, um, chapter 7, verse 23. Chapter 7, verse 23. I'm gonna wait a second because I still hear some pages turning. Are you lost in the book and know you're lost? Ding. All right, so in the word, y'all there? The book of humanity, chapter 7, verse 23, you will find the word attribution bias. Attribution bias. Let me tell you what this passage is trying to say. It's trying to say that maybe you're giving too much credit or blame to one thing. Can you see where it's going? Can you see where I'm going? Attribution bias. So when you're giving too much credit or blame to one thing, this can apply to business, to church, to relationships. That's the one that beats everybody over the head. AI, a good one is politics. Politics. Sit down, politics in the back. You've done enough. It's giving too much credit or blame to one thing. Now make that go both ways, y'all. Don't be biased, okay? So, and my life included, it applies to your life and my life included. All right. So that's one word in the word. Are you making the connections? Okay, I hope so. If not, pause, take notes, come on back. The next word I want to introduce you to in the word is called survivorship bias. I'm gonna give you a chance to write that down. Survivorship bias. This is when you hear a lot of success stories, right? But you don't hear all the success stories, but you do hear that one success story. So say whatever this was, 500 people went through it. It didn't work for the 500, but that one story is the one that you're going to keep hearing over and over, over and over and over again, right? So in this case, I'm not saying that the coach didn't help or course didn't help. With survivorship bias, what you have to ask yourself is, what part of the story am I not seeing? The story isn't complete. I'm being told this, but what part am I not seeing? And that's how you should look at a lot of things in life and just question it. Am I giving too much blame or credit here? Then I'm being told this or shown this. I just had a thought. You ever think of the news? Yeah. I'm being told this one thing, although all these other things exist. Now let me flip that to a positive for you real quick. Sometimes there's a group of people that people can look like, let me start over. There's a group of people to where one person represents all the people. One person represents all the people. Can I get an amen? Okay, so let me just get a church fan. Can I get somebody on a tambourine? But listen, let me bring it back. That's how my mind works, y'all. That's how my mind works. It's like a circus up in this thing, but it's a good circus because the circus doesn't. The mind of me, the randomness of G, I really do take information, process that information, question that information, and definitely try not to bias that information. And if so, is can I stop and actually self-analyze, you know? But what we need to do is start taking the things that we see that we are presented with and saying, what's the complete story? Do I need to do more research? Do I need to ask more questions before I come to a conclusion or assumption or develop a belief based on that? Because one thing may not have been the reason for the other thing happening. Okay. So there's an additional friend I want to bring into this party because I've introduced you to two words. We got attribution bias, survivorship bias, and I got this little friend named Maybe. My friend Maybe keeps me humbled because once you start to question the things around you, you start to shift your viewpoints, your perspective. You gain more understanding and compassion because you start to apply maybe before the things that you think are concrete. Maybe it was timing. Maybe it was a manager. Maybe it was luck. Maybe it was the experience that the person had before then. Maybe it was finally being given the opportunity. Maybe it was preparation. Maybe it was preparation meeting opportunity. Hey, just saying. But that word maybe will keep you humble if you put it in front of things before you come to a conclusion and when you're breaking down information. You need to break down the information. Decompensation. I might have used that wrong, but it's definitely taking a bigger picture and breaking it down into smaller pieces and looking at the individual pieces to kind of get a better story or at least work or modify that belief system, that data, that whatever you're doing, right? So even with all those things and that maybe, I'm trying to connect this for you. It connects here for me, but it's success in one area does not make that person an expert on everything else. You get that? Maybe I phrased that wrong. Success in one area does not equal to or evaluate like equate to an expert in everything. That's dangerous. I laugh in the face of danger. I walk on the wild side. I laugh in the face of danger. Where did I get that from? I'm gonna show you in the video though. They go better. Um, well, one thing I need you to do with that, just sit with that for a second. And I need you to do the self work. Get your notebook, step into your laboratory, and start asking yourself these different questions. One, and this is all related. It comes together. It comes together. Just sit with it. The first thing that you should ask yourself is, am I blaming one person for a system? Am I blaming one person for a system? Hmm. What variables or what things are missing that I'm not considering, or that I just choose to refuse not to consider? Who else deserves credit? And look at that in a, I don't want to say bad or good, positive, negative, but you got to look at both sides of the spectrum because everything ain't dark. It's not black and white. So, but who else deserves credit? Because some people don't want the credit, and that's a whole different beast. What I'm saying is, how many things, and I see this a lot when it comes to business. I see it a lot when it comes to stuff like um, marketing, leadership, coaching, social media, parenting, church, politics. I'm gonna say faith in general, or testimonials. Who deserves credit? Sometimes we get credit. Let me back up because I say at church because here's one that people should relate to. The devil made me do it, but who really deserves that credit? Is somebody being blamed for a decision or a system or a choice that you made, and you attributing that to, okay, you already know what I'm talking about because I'm sure you've done it. I've done it. But also, when you learn better, you do better and you modify that behavior for the future, right? That's how that works. Sit with that too. Sit with that too. Okay, all right, so why do I even want to talk about this today, or why do I even want to bring this up? Let me tell you why that bothers me so much. It bothers me because one, I'm not looking for a villain. A lot of people look for a villain in any situation. They look for somebody to blame, they look for somebody to point the finger at, anything but here, right? Anything. But I'm not looking for a villain. I can tell you that for a fact. I'm not looking for a villain. Sometimes I don't know what I'm looking for, honestly. But I know it ain't a villain. But what I do look for, I look for accuracy. I look for accuracy in what's being presented to me. And I know that there is no perfection, but I do think that people deserve accuracy. I think they deserve to see sometimes a full picture in some cases, because some stuff it really is not your business. You mind your business because some things you don't owe another person. Okay. And then when you do choose to share it, be mindful of the feedback that you may get from it, because a lot of people like to share stuff, but then get mad when somebody doesn't act like they didn't see it and didn't have a comment or a feeling or a reaction or a comment toward it. Let me know if I'm getting warm. Let me know if I'm getting warm. But there's a thought I had. I lost my thought. Um, let's keep this train going. But basically, what I'm asking you to do is when you encounter information, start just critical thinking. It's not to critique and analyze everything to just be a pushback or, a sore thumb or a thorn in somebody's side. Don't do that. What you're doing is you're building yourself up, and not only are you looking at the things that you're encountering, you're applying them to yourself and saying, hey, how can I do better in this area? That's one of the reasons the last episode that I made leadership, that I spoke to you on that, because it allows you to see it in the things that you're doing or encountering, or the things that the communities maybe that you're a part of, but it also tells you to look at yourself and self-evaluate. I mean, self-assess. You just look, figure it out. Get quiet, turn off the TV, stop looking at all the, no offense to Love Island, but sometimes the things that you keep pouring into you are coming out of you, and that's one of your biggest barriers, because what you have, and yeah, I'm gonna say it, what you have is misalignment. Because some of you, well, we're not blaming, right? Some people really legit, and here's where that accountability comes from, and talk to yourself, get yourself together. Your friends shouldn't have to, but get yourself together, to where you're offline, you're one person, but when you're online, you're another person. That that's weird to me. And I say that because that's a word I gotta drop, because I had a whole regional conversation on that word today. On how the weird word, how for some people it's common language. On the West Coast, I've noticed that it's common language, but then on the South, when you say weird, it's a whole different meaning. Neither one of them are really good, but at the same time, one is more like, you're weird, you're this, you're a fool, you're stupid. And it's like, come on, what? Yeah, okay. In the South, you might take it a little bit more personal because you only use it at certain times. But on the West Coast, sometimes that's just like a normal thing when they pissed off and they just say it. And you're like, oh, that's an interesting set of words that you chose to use. So, hey, anyway, but for me, the point I was saying is the person you are offline versus the person that you are online. I'm way off track right now, but it's like saying, hey, I love Jesus offline, but on online, you cussing, you're manipulating people, you see the problem? There's a problem there. And don't even say that that's my online personality. No, because some things that you do and the harm that you do to other people, that speaks volumes, because that's a heart posture. I'm not going there. Anyway, so what did we learn today, kids? We learned that when we see information, what we want to do is look at it and see what we're missing. So we really want to take a look and look at the attribution bias, the survivor bias, and we want to bring in our friend maybe into the equation and see maybe there's more to this story. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get off of that so I can get off of here, because this is one of these late night after I've wrapped up everything. I need to just settle down for a moment. One this right here also is one of the reasons why I am starting a community, and that's my goal, to have a community of 50 women. And it's Felvori Circle. It's going to be 50 women with my 5 squad. That's my power team. But what that squad is going to do, we're coming in this thing high. We're not here just to say, hey, I'm in a group and that's the motivation. No, we're coming with momentum. What we are aiming to do, if you're building a business, we have structured sessions that's going to be like, all right, 90 minutes. This is dedicated to strictly what you need to do in this area. Financial review, there we go. Okay. We need to have a workshop. There you go. There's check-ins. There's things to build. And it's not going to be like you're just basic women's community where you just type in and you just forget about it. This is a quarterly themed circle. And it's to definitely speak to women who are focused, who are not about tearing other people down. They're about building each other up, reaching out and helping somebody. And one of the things that's going to be connected to that is them paying it forward and pouring into somebody else. So you, as a part of it, you will have to put money aside in order to bless somebody else. That's part of it. But anyway, probably didn't mention that before. I don't know. But yeah, let me flip the focus and get off of here. Like I said, here she goes with that again. She say one thing, do another. Um, Today was a day that I'm grateful I had other things to kind of focus on. But today also, like I said in a previous episode, that the eviction date court case was coming up. That was today. And so with that, there's 7 days to be out of that location. Um, and my feeling around that is, yeah, I feel like I failed in that area, even though a lot of the circumstances weren't directly my fault. However, I still own all of it. I feel like I failed in that area, and it's a lot. It just impacts a lot of people. And then I don't like that I have to try to find a new home for my daughter's her cats. Y'all know how you get attached to pets. They're like family. And then if you have to rehome them, even if I can find somebody temporary, that would mean the world to me. But I don't know. So I'm gonna do some calling around tomorrow. But yeah, today was just one of them days where you just feel like a failure, and yeah, and it impacts other people. So I today kind of did one of those Dory things, and you just keep swimming. Cause just like, just keep swimming. I'm just keep going. I'm gonna keep flowing. I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do. And because it's temporary, we'll get through this. So that's what I'm working on. Another thing that I'm kind of pouring myself into is I'm building some things. And I'm sure if you hear me, you've heard me talk on here. Sometimes stuff comes out, you can kind of tell I like knowledge, info, and all the good things. So one thing that I'm building or working on setting up is a 90-day, it's an AI experiment, a project that I'm testing out, and I'm going to see if it actually works. If what the person said actually works, then I'll tell you what the project is. But I got to test it first because I want to see. And they say, oh, yeah, if this was this, then in 90 days it will be this. I got to test that. And I got a friend that that put me onto it. So I'm testing it with that. That's how you just see who deserves the credit. That guy deserves the credit. Woo! All right. Also, I'm doing some software engineering work. I did that today, building on that, working through like logic. That's why decomposition came to my mind quickly, because when you're breaking down projects, you have to go through um, just breaking down problems and the things that you're building, like functions and all that back end type stuff. But for me, that's another way to skill up to try to get out of this transition of a layoff. And my life just in flames, right? So another thing, I told you I got pose in the water, pose in the water. My AI, I got an AI cloud acceptance to a cohort. I wish it was a paid cohort. It's not, but preferably, hopefully in the future, it can lead to that. Um, that's another skill up method. So it's AI cloud. I thought I was signed up for cyber, but I'm not going to complain or ask to be moved to something else, because I always feel like when things like that occur, that's something that's been yeah, I'm about to tap into something else that maybe I didn't know, I didn't consider. I always think there's something to learn, right? Um, Trying to think what else do I have going on? Do you even care? Building my business and trying to get clients for that so that I can position myself for government contracts. That's my thing. So when people like myself are laid off and they have certain skills, we can also pay the bills while also providing a service or meeting a need according to that contract, right? Um, that's the goal. And to stop saying So if I got on your nerves, this message with it, that's fine. Another area I want you guys to look into has to do with agri-tech. I'll talk about that on another episode, but I'll give you a heads up so you can know whether or not you want to tune in or not. But the agricultural industry doing great things with the advancement of technology. It will blow your mind. Uh yeah. So I'm gonna wrap this up. The one thing that I hope to do, I hope there's something so miraculous that just happens in my life between now and the end of next week, that all the financial problems are taken care of. There's stability. There's no worry or nervousness or care for a long term, for a long time. I don't have to worry about shelter. I don't have to worry about a car. I don't have to worry about all the things, and family is taken care of. And I'm studying, I'm working, and I'm building. You know how good that's going to feel? And there's going to be three things I'm going to aim for. If y'all know me, y'all know what I'm about to say. A lychee martini, a ribeye that just making that decision doesn't create a national emergency. in a snowball. Y'all, I want a snowball. Pina colada snowball with a little green apple on there and some condensed milk. Man, but I'll take the lychee martini and I'll take the ribeye, medium rare. A big one. Thank you. Um, that's it. And to just sleep well for a good period of time. But anyway, that's it. That's all I got. So my wrap up is when you look at things, the things that you're gonna encounter, even if you listen to this whole episode, it's who deserves the credit? Who else deserves credit? Is there more to this story? Is there a complete story here? Or somebody just wrapping something up and trying to position me to persuade how I'm thinking or how I'm moving or what I'm going to pay? All right. So, oh, wait a minute, 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 wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Um, the song plug is Dondria. Dondria, and the song is called Solitude. And I picked that song today because that's exactly what I'm about to do. You probably can hear it in my voice just a little bit, just a little bit. Um, it says in that song, need to be by myself, quiet the soul, heart, and mind, and then quiet the noise. But just turn the song on. Cut the lights down, turn the song on, and just unplug and mellow out. That's exactly what I'm about to do. So I'll leave you with that. Dondra, song called Solitude. And to ask when you encounter information, even in conversations, close this, open this. Who deserves the credit? What's the complete story? What are the biases? Where are the maybes? Just start to question that. And how are you showing up? How's that person showing up? All right, take it easy. Johnny.